started. It was 5 o'clock, and Alan was riding his motorcycle in San Francisco.
À,
When was Alan riding his motorcycle?
at 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, Alan was riding his motorcycle.
At 5 o'clock, right? At 5 o'clock, Alan was riding his motorcycle. Was Alan riding his car?
No,
Or
Alan was
Alan
riding his
riding
motorcycle.
his motorcycle? Well, of course, Alan was riding his motorcycle. Where was Alan riding his motorcycle?
In San Francisco. Alan was riding his motorcycle in San Francisco.
Alan was riding his motorcycle in San Francisco. When was he riding?
At 5 o'clock. He
At 5
was
o'clock.
riding at 5 o'clock.
Alan was riding his motorcycle in San Francisco. He was riding down Van Ness Street and came to a stoplight.
À,
Who was riding down Van Ness Street?
Alan was riding down Van Ness Street.
Alan was riding down Van Ness Street. What was he riding on?
His motorcycle. Alan was riding his motorcycle
On
in
a
San
motorcycle.
Francisco.
He was riding on his motorcycle. Was he riding down Market Street?
No, she was riding down Van Ness Street.
Not Market Street. He wasn't riding down Market Street. Was he riding down Lombard Street?
No, she wasn't.
No.
She was
Wasn't
riding down Van Ness Street.
Lombard Street. He was riding down Van Ness Street. When? When was he riding down Van Ness Street?
At 5 o'clock. At 5 o'clock, Alan was
At 5
riding
o'clock.
down Van Ness
At
Street.
5 o'clock, he was riding down Van Ness Street. Who was riding down Van Ness Street
Alan.
at 5 o'clock?
Alan was riding down Van Ness Street at 5 o'clock.
Alan was riding down Van Ness Street at 5 o'clock. Was he in a truck?
No, she was in his motorcycle.
In a truck. He was on his motorcycle. And he came to a stoplight.
Ah,
Did Alan come to a go light?
no, Alan came to a stoplight.
No. He didn't come to a go light. He came to a stoplight. We never say go light. We only say stoplight. Who came to a stoplight?
Alan came to a stoplight.
Alan, of course. Alan came to a stoplight. What was he on when he came to a stoplight?
On his motorcycle. He was on his
He
motorcycle.
was on a motorcycle when he came to a stoplight. Where was the stoplight?
On Van Ness Street in San Francisco.
on Van
The
Ness
stoplight was on Van Ness Street.
Was on Van Ness Street. Was the stoplight on Embarcadero Street?
No,
Or was the stoplight on Van Ness Street?
Van Ness Street. The stoplight was on Van Ness Street.
Of course, Van Ness. The stoplight was on Van Ness Street. Who was at the stoplight?
Alan was at the
Alan
stoplight.
was at the stoplight. Which city was Alan in?
San Francisco.
San Francisco, of
Alan was in San Francisco.
Alan was in San Francisco. Where is Van Ness?
In San Francisco. Van Ness is
Street
in
is in
San Francisco.
San Francisco. Of course, Van Ness Street is in San Francisco. Is Van Ness Street in New York?
No.
Or is Van Ness Street in San Francisco?
San Francisco. Van Ness Street
Of
is
course,
in
Van Ness
San
Street
Francisco.
is in San Francisco. Where was Alan riding?
On Van Ness Street in San Francisco. Alan was riding on Van Ness Street
On
in
Van
San
Ness
Francisco.
Street in San Francisco. And he came to a stoplight. A red Ferrari pulled up next to him.
Ah.
Did the red Ferrari pull up behind him?
No. A referee pulled up next to him.
No, not behind him. The red Ferrari pulled up next to him. What pulled up next to Alan?
A referee pulled up next to Alan.
A red Ferrari pulled up next to Alan. Did Alan pull up next to a red Ferrari?
No. A referee pulled up next to Alan.
No. Alan didn't pull up next to a red Ferrari. A red Ferrari pulled up next to him. Where did the red Ferrari pull up next to Alan?
On Van Ness Street in San Francisco. At a stoplight.
On Van Ness Street. At a stoplight on Van Ness Street, a red Ferrari pulled up next to Alan. Was Alan in a red Ferrari?
No. Alan wasn't
Alan wasn't in
in
a red
a red
Ferrari.
Ferrari.
He was on